What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Game Changers podcast. I have Luke here with me, and today we have a very special guest. But to start off, we're going to start off with the fact that the Orioles are losing right now. If you see my eyes dart down, it's because I'm secretly watching the game.
It's bad. It's 3-0, and they're fine.
So
Holliday's going to do something amazing and has made debut, and it'll be great.
Right. How exciting is this? It is a Holliday because Holliday is in the game. Also, fun fact, did you see that the 3 youngest MLB players are all named Jackson? That's wild. The Jackson 3, not the Jackson 5, the Jackson 3. Which is super exciting. Luke, what do you think about Holliday being up? Why do you think I'm curious why they left him in the minors and then pulled him up. Do you think it's because he's so young?
Here's what I think. Now, this is probably 100% wrong, but I'm not Mike Elias, so he knows way better than I do. I believe that he was ready in spring training, which I believe he was ready, but they wanted him to get a couple more at-bats, and he got, I think, like 30 or 40 more at-bats in AAA in the last couple weeks. So I think they wanted him to get those couple more at-bats just to make sure he was ready to come up. And then once they figured he was ready, they called him up. He was batting like 340, something like that.
Incredible.
In the first couple weeks. So that solidified his position, and they called him up. So I'm very happy they did.
Me too. It's about time. So for those for our listeners that do not know who Jackson Holliday is, can you give a little synopsis of who he is and everything?
So yeah, he is Matt Holliday's son, who is a former MLB outfielder. He played for the Cardinals and I think the Rockies a little bit. Don't fact check me on the Rockies because I don't know if he played for them or not, but I know he played for the Cardinals.
This is from Luke's. This is from Luke's
just
Wikipedia,
straight from my
not
brain.
actual.
I haven't looked any of this up yet. But he is his oldest son, and they from Stillwater, Oklahoma. He was drafted first overall by the Orioles as a shortstop in 2022. Which, to put in perspective, he's the same age as me. Graduated the same year. He's only a couple days older than me. And was only in the minors for a year and a half, 2 years almost.
He's incredible.
Excelled all the way up to the majors in a very short amount of time. So
super exciting, and I can't wait to see.
For the Orioles. Huge
for the Orioles. They have such a young team, and it's really exciting. They also have a type. It was so funny when they put that. They put a picture on their Instagram today.
They do have a type. I will say
they do. Yeah, Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, and Holliday all look very similar.
I just looked it up. He did play for the Rockies. So
look at that.
Amongst a lot of other teams, but those are just the 2 that I remember him playing on. So he'd also play for the Yankees and the A's. So
just all over the place. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to see where he goes, and
should be good.
For those that don't know, Luke and I are from right outside of Baltimore, so born and raised Oriole fans through their their ups and downs, and I think we're on a rise right now with a young team and some young talent. Yeah, so super exciting. There's a lot of other things going on. We have the Masters going on, and it's actually supposed to pour here tomorrow, so I think they delayed it a little bit, but hopefully they get to play. I have not been keeping up with it. Luke, have you?
I have not looked at the radar yet there, but I have not heard anything other than that they are going to play. But weather is weather, so it'll change whenever it does. But
true that.
I will be glued to the television tomorrow because I don't have class. So I will be watching every single second of the Masters tomorrow.
No
I recorded
class?
the par 3. I do not know. I recorded the par 3 contest. Have not gotten a chance to watch it yet because I just got back from our game today. But I will be watching that before I go to bed.
How did your game go today?
It was actually good. We did end up losing 5-4, but we played Johns Hopkins today, who's the 10th ranked team in the country in Division III. So we played a very good game.
Good.
didn't end up coming out on the winning side, but we're getting better
That's
every
good.
day, so that's all that matters. It's right around the corner. It's right around the corner.
Yes, it is. Well, that's very exciting. And also in my sector of the world, the NCAA Division I Gymnastics Championships are coming up so soon. I think it's April 18th, if I'm not mistaken. But we can ask our guest because she's actually going to compete in it. She competed internationally for, I believe in 20. She's going to fact check me on this, but I believe it's 2023. But now she is a freshman at University of Florida, and she is in their lineup, and she is killing it. She's got an SEC Freshman of the Week multiple times. Scored a perfect score on floor. Please welcome Anya Pilgrim.
Hi.
There she is. Anya, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Great.
Good.
Where are we finding you right now?
Right now we're in my room. It looks a little empty because I'm moving out in about 2 weeks.
You're moving out? Are you going back home?
No, I'm gonna
No.
go to an apartment complex, but I will be home at some point in the summer, so I'm looking forward to that.
That's good. So okay, so tell us a little bit about what it's like at University of Florida. Do you just love it? Was it your first choice?
I would say so. I really knew I wanted to go to an SEC school, and Florida was perfect because the warm weather, what more could you want? And then I knew that the academics were top notch and the athletics were just as good, so I would be real well rounded.
Queen. Love that. So Anya and I went to the same gym, and I will forever remember that in level 4 when I went to a different gymnastics facility and was on a different team, I beat her once. Just once. That was
The
it.
one and only time she ever beat her. Yes.
Ever. But Anya's one of my favorite people and so talented. So, Anya, what was it like to be recruited? So, like, you know, when did you get recruited? What was that process like? Because I know that when I was in gymnastics, once I got to my junior year, it was a blur.
Yes, so pretty much when I was younger, I was doing elite, so I had a lot of exposure, but then they did change the rules, so you couldn't talk to colleges before June 15th of your sophomore year,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I believe. So when that day came, I didn't really know what to expect, which is my answer for a lot of things, but I wasn't really sure if I would get any calls, but the whole entire day, it was like a laundry list, and it was like, wow, like, you really want me. And
Yeah.
At first I just knew I wanted to be in the SEC. I wasn't dead set on Florida,
Mhm.
but after my visit to Florida, I really knew that this was the place.
Yes. And do you love it there? So you are on a team with Kayla, who you also competed with when you were in elite. What's that like? Like, is it a different dynamic? Is it the same, better?
Well, Florida's been everything I've wanted and more, because I never thought that the season would be so great. Kayla is taking her little year off right now, so
I know.
for her to come back, we're gonna live together, so that's gonna be a lot of fun.
That's so exciting.
That's gonna be
Oh my
cool.
gosh. Band getting back together. Love that. Hills reunion.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. I remember being like 8 years old and dreaming of going to Florida. Yeah, and that dream quickly diminished once I realized I was was just pipe dream. Which is totally fine. It's really fun to watch. So okay, you get to Florida. What was the transition like? Like, I know that I had a kind of an issue transitioning from even just like regular life into living on my own was tough. What was it like for you, and gymnastics included?
That's a great question. So, leading up to the day that I knew I had to leave, I cried pretty much every single day. I did not want to leave home. I did not want to leave my grandma. I didn't know how I was going to survive without her. My grandpa spends a lot of time in Barbados, so that wasn't as bad because I've been apart from him for months at a time, but my grandma has always been there for me, so I was
I
struggling.
love that. Yeah.
But I knew that Florida was going to be something so great, and it was going to be the right place for me academically and athletically. So I just kept telling myself, I'm going to a better place.
Yes.
Everything's fine.
Yes.
So when I actually got here, it really wasn't that bad.
Good. Yeah, it usually takes, it's the anxiety. You and I share that. We've talked about it before, but anxiety. Luke, how, I don't think I've ever asked you. Have you had, did you have the same thing? Yeah.
Yeah, in college is a completely different ball game than high school. And then you're just living on your own for the first time. You go from living with your parents and your family, and you have a quote unquote support system, I guess. But when you get to college, you're all on your own. You're an adult. Technically, your parents don't have to do anything for you anymore, even though they're going to, because they're good people. But it's tough to learn how to manage your time, do everything by yourself, especially with a sport, and you've always had your parents telling you when and where to be at all points in time, taking you to things, doing everything for you. It's a huge learning curve, and to me it took a whole year to figure out how to figure it out to where it best suited me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Anya, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're probably doing better now than you did at the beginning.
Yeah, and I surprisingly didn't have too much trouble in the beginning. They really
awesome.
held my hand, and like I was just where I needed to be. They're making sure I was right with everything, all my appointments that I had to do, all the medical checkups, like everything was fine. So it's been good.
Good. I love watching. I think it's so interesting when I see, so there, you know, when it's like a quad meet, when 4 teams are competing at the same time, or when I went to Auburn, I saw you when Florida was competing against Auburn, and my friend Paige goes to Auburn, and I remember watching, and it looks like a family. Like Jenny Rowland looks like very motherly, and everyone seems to really care about each other, and you know, gymnastics and away from gymnastics. Is that something that you feel when you're on that team?
Yes, and that's another part of why I love it so much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super close with, Luke and I are very close with our families, and you're close with your family, and I'm sure that's so nice for both of you to have like a team, and a family. I'm sure that was super nice.
Yes.
Love that. So like, okay, so gymnastics takes up most of your time, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
What are you studying?
Right now they have me doing social and behavioral sciences, so that's like just a general major, I think, because you don't really declare until sophomore year, I believe.
Okay.
I'm interested in doing something with economics or business, something like that.
Oh, you smarty pants. I could never. I took an economics class last year, and it was something. My brain is not wired like that.
It's not easy, but I really like it.
Good. I love that. Using those academics and to your advantage for sure. Do you okay, this is gonna sound awful, but do you have a social life outside gymnastics?
I would say yeah. I've made a lot of friends from different sports here. Going to class every day, it's I see people there too, so it's been good.
I love that. I love that. I love to see you happy, and it's really cool. Did you think that you would be looking back from when you were I don't know, 8 years old? Did you think that you were going to be here?
I don't know. I think there was a lot going through my head at 8 years old. I didn't really know what to expect.
You're I don't even remember. I was worried about, I don't know, what color nails I was going to have to go to school.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, the little things, right? When we shopped at Justice, oh my gosh.
Oh.
And it said gymnast on it, just in case anyone was, I would do cartwheels in the middle of the mall, but I had to make sure that everyone knew that I was a gymnast.
Oh,
sparkles.
Yeah, I definitely remember watching gymnastics on TV, so NCAA gymnastics definitely stand out to me through my early years, but
absolutely.
I think that I would really be here.
Yeah. And I mean, Florida has produced so many Olympians and people like, have you met any of like, I guess your idols, maybe?
Idols are on my team pretty much.
Oh, love that. And you're like,
Great
they're
answer.
normal people, right?
Great answer.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet. I mean, that's crazy. Yeah, they're all so talented. So talented. And then you realize they're regular people.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy, you know? Like, sometimes I forget that, like, you know, you'll see someone do a 10-0 floor routine, and then you're like, they also have to, like, probably after this meet, they have to write a paper. Like, they're college, like, I sometimes forget this. Like, I'll be watching any sport, and I'll forget that student athletes are students. It's just kind of crazy. Like, you're on, like, national television.
Yeah.
This was wild to me to think about. It's craziness.
I don't really think about that too much.
Yeah, you're like, actually, don't mention that because that freaks me out.
When they tell me, do my little thing.
Yeah. How do you lock in? Do you lock in any way, like to get prepared? Do you listen to music or?
Absolutely. I would say for the entire season, I've been locked in. Like, since the week of January 12th, something turned on. It was like bedtime was 9 p.m. Business, so.
Yeah. Oh, we're cutting it close. It's 8:30. You're like, I'm already ready for bed.
Yeah, don't worry.
Good. I'm glad. Is it so being an elite, it's definitely much more, I guess, like, I don't even know the word, I guess, strict, very individualized because so for those that don't know, I'm sure most people listening know, but for those that don't, there's two different tracks that you can go on. You can go to JO, which is more of the college track. You just go through from level 3 to level 10. You work your way up, and usually after that, you go to college. And then there's the elite track, and that is, in simple terms, moving towards international competition. So Anya did the elite track, and it's just much more, it's less team oriented. It's much more individualized. Nothing wrong with it, obviously. People use elite and they go to the Olympics and they win gold medals, and it's incredible. What is the difference that you feel between elite and JO and college? Is there like a major difference that you feel?
I would say so, yes. First of all, as you mentioned, the team aspect of it is a lot different because it's not just everyone for themselves, it's everyone for a specific goal or a specific cause, which I really love. And also, the training required to be an elite athlete is probably double what I do. It's also a lot easier on your body. So,
I'm sure.
really good.
That's awesome. Ugh, I miss you so much, Anya. We like snap each other every day. Ugh.
That's absurd.
It's crazy.
You guys have been best friends since you guys were like 12.
Since I beat her when I was like 6.
I do have one question for you though. Do you have any advice for a aspiring college gymnast, let's say 6, 7, and 8, on what you should do to best prepare yourself to be in the position that you are now?
I would say definitely put yourself first because that's one thing that I've learned that I keep learning. Put yourself first and also put yourself out there because you never know what might happen. Your dreams just aren't too big and anything can happen. So really put yourself out there, keep trying, keep doing your best, and you will have success in the end.
It's so accurate. That's so true. I'm sure mid-recruiting process, you were like, it would be easier to just say, you know what? This is too much.
Recruiting process is a lot. It is.
Yeah. Do you agree with because I remember when we were all in gymnastics, it was be annoying. Like, send the emails, send the videos, send all of it. Do you think that is actually like holds water? Do you think that that's accurate?
I think yes. Personally, I don't really do too much. I don't do too much. For like 95% of people, like, yes, be annoying, do all of
Yes.
that. Since
You're
I had
just
elite exposure, I didn't really need to do that.
absolutely. Yeah, that definitely does help, especially in this sort of environment.
Yeah.
So apart from, I guess, gymnastics, what kind of things like, okay, so what does your typical day look like?
I wake up around 8. I might have class or tutoring, go to lunch, then I have practice around 1 to 5. Some days we have lift, which is very new to me as well. And then after,
Right?
yeah. I probably lift the lightest on my team. Everyone else's warm up is my max. So
That would be me.
yeah, it's pretty rough. But after that, just dinner, shower, homework.
Bed at 9.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you get a good amount of sleep at night.
Oh, absolutely.
You have to. If you don't get enough sleep, your body can't recover. Eat, sleep, hydrate. Coach Carp's famous words. Eat, sleep, hydrate.
Yeah.
Hydrate or dihydrate.
But I also think that the tutoring has been really helpful because I don't end up doing a lot of homework myself. I'll have that structured time to really do it with someone watching.
Do you like tutoring?
I do, because I usually don't really need too much help, except maybe the directions are confusing every once in a while. But if someone's in the room watching me, I'm gonna be
Locked in.
I like tutoring, but I feel like every time I go in to get tutored, I always just want them to give me the answers instead of just them instead of like them helping me get like for me to know it. I always want them to just like, hey, can you please just give me the answers? Like I've been struggling on this. Can you just like help a brother out and give him the answers?
Yeah, see, but then they teach you and you're like, oh my gosh, I can do that on my own.
Yeah, like, oh my God, what was I thinking?
Right. You're like, why did I not see that? It helps when someone explains it, but I also like tutoring a lot. But oh my gosh, do I feel the lifting thing. The amount of people here, just regular people, not even athletes, that are like, you've never lifted weights in your life. I'm like, actually, no, I lift my body weight. So I did push-ups and I did pull-ups and I did lots and lots of running.
Great things.
Yeah, they are. And gymnasts are so strong for not lifting weights.
All gymnasts use calisthenics. That's literally all we do.
It's a big word. Can you spell it?
Yeah. Don't even get me trying. No.
That's okay. It starts with a K, by the way. Okay, so how many coaches do you have?
Right now I have, I think 5. So I have Jenny, Owen, and Adrian, and then Trin as the assistant, and then Jeremy, the choreographer.
Oh my God, he's so animated. I love him. He knows all of your routines. Obviously, I assume that you like them all. I'm not going to ask your favorite, but what is it like having somebody like Trinity, who is just so seasoned, so talented, and just so down to earth, to have her help you get to the same point? Is it a different feeling than having a coach? What's it like having someone, I guess, like closer in age to you and seeing I'm sure that you probably see yourself in her, or at least what her career was like.
Yeah. And if you asked me to pick a favorite, I really couldn't, because they're also different.
Yes.
There's just so many good things about all of them, but Trinity, yes, she is closer in age. And you said that I can see myself in her, but I forget how you phrased it, but she can see herself in me. So then
Gotcha. Yep.
Oh my gosh, like maybe I'm good. Like maybe I can.
What?
Yes.
Do you, I mean, I guess most people, as humble as you are, don't realize like you got a perfect score on floor. Like, holy crap. I mean, and it was perfection. What the heck was that like? Like, it was a packed arena. I'm sure that environment in and of itself is insane.
Yeah, it was like one of our last regular season meets. packed arena in Kentucky where they play basketball. It was insane. And man, that was actually my first time doing that floor routine because I had just changed my passes because I'm really bad at leaps. So Adrian was like, no, we're done. Like, we're making the first pass harder so we can take a lead out. So I'm there, I'm
Smart.
already getting pulled. I'm like, okay, like, what's about to happen? Never done this before. And then make my last pass. I'm like, let me stare at the judges a little bit, give them a little eye contact. And then I finish, and I'm like, okay, like, at least a 9-9, like, please. And then I see a 10, and I was like, no way. And then I see another 10. I lost my mind.
Blacked out. Yeah. Oh my gosh. See, they didn't lie in level 4 when they said cute points work. Eye contact. They're like, oh my gosh, she noticed I'm here.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Oh gosh, I watch that routine probably once a week.
Oh my gosh.
Are you kidding me? I'm not even
I mean,
lying.
I've watched it like maybe 2 or 3 times, like after the fact,
I mean,
but like
it's just, I just appreciate perfection because I think, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't know if this is like a hot take or whatever, but so sometimes I feel like 10-0s are given to people who sometimes it should be a 9-9-7-5. Depending on I guess the place that you're at, the level, like SEC schools, big name people. And you're a freshman, and the fact that you got a 10-0 as a freshman, like, you earned every single 10th of that 10-0 because you didn't have any, you had no college behind you, right? Like, that was,
you don't
like
have
you said,
the
it was, go
yeah,
ahead.
you don't have the reputation behind you. Like
Right.
I can't think of a girl off the top of my head, but there are girls in Division 1 gymnastics that have been there for 4 years with the grad students, and they've got the reputation behind them of this girl's amazing at this certain event, and they get that extra half a tenth that you don't see freshmen or sophomores getting tens on because
Right.
they just don't have that reputation. Which
Yeah.
I think is, I mean,
Like,
not gonna lie, I kind of think that's weird and like wrong, but yeah.
yeah, your name can sometimes boost a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting from
Absolutely. Yes. And you're making a name for yourself. That's absolutely accurate. Do you feel like you're treated any differently being a student athlete compared to other students, or does it feel like you're part of the school?
Well, when I'm in class every day, I don't think many people know. Like, I just kind of walk in. I do appreciate the tutoring and the services that we get, like, at our academic center. Like, that is just priceless, but other than that, I feel pretty normal.
I love that. And definitely using those resources is so nice. When I worked for the baseball team last year, they considered me a student athlete, which I thought was hilarious, but they did. And I got priority scheduling, which was so nice. So definitely the perks are so nice. And I'm sure it's super nice to have a trainer like on staff
Yeah,
every
definitely.
day. Yeah. Instead of trying to find your own. I'm sure that was lovely. Yeah, that's awesome. I just love talking to you. It's so much fun. So, okay, so I'm sure you're crazy busy with, I mean, just like semesters wrapping up, the year's wrapping up, finals coming, not to, bring all the things that you're trying to forget about right now, stress wise. And obviously the national championship. How are y'all preparing to go into the national championship?
So I think nationals is like one of the last weeks of school, so there's that. But honestly, I think this is the least busy I've ever been in my life.
That's
Like,
great.
I've never had this much free time. I picked up reading, like, I have time. Or maybe I just manage it well. I don't know.
Probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think any athlete, gymnasts very much included, know how to manage time really well.
Yeah.
Reading voluntarily, yeah. What are you choosing to read? Anything exciting?
I'll choose a book with my grandma, and we'll kind of read it together and then talk about it. So, mostly historical fiction stuff.
I love that. Oh my gosh, I love that. Stimulate the brain. And it's like your own little book club.
Mm-hmm.
That's so nice. And you get to, so I assume you talk to her daily?
Oh yeah, I call her every morning on my way to class. I call her like 4 times a day.
That's how I am with my mom. If she doesn't answer on my walk to class, it's like a thing. Yeah, totally daily thing. Yeah, I love that. It makes you feel like you're there, you're together, which is awesome. Well, that's so great. Are you excited? Like, are you getting pre-meet jitters? Or are you just like, this is going to be awesome?
Well, since we just finished regionals, I'm like, all right, I can take a breath for a second.
Absolutely.
We have a couple more days of training before we head out, so I'll probably start feeling it when we leave.
Absolutely. And where is it?
Fort Worth.
Fort Worth, Texas. That's awesome. And so how many days do you go in advance?
I think we're leaving on Tuesday. There's a banquet that night. Train Wednesday, compete Thursday, off Friday, and then Saturday is 4 on the floor.
This is exciting. Oh my gosh. Have you met anyone from like other teams that I guess like you've competed against when you were younger and now you see or people that you were on the same team with and you see, and what's that like to be competing against them but also just seeing them in a different, living out their dream just like you are?
Yeah, I have a lot of friends from level 10 and stuff that I've seen on different teams, but gymnastics is really a sport where it's not as negative when you see other teams. Like, you're still my friend and I'm still going to support you, even though Florida let's win, but I support you individually.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Luke, do you feel like that with baseball? Do you think it's more on the negative side? Like
No,
or do you think it's very
no.
similar?
It's I think it's extremely similar. I think that the guys that I know on the teams that we play, I want them to do as good as they possibly can. I root for them every day. I look at their stats, text them, do all that. Um, I just hope that I do a tad better. Just that friendly competition that you have between them. But no, I don't ever root for them to do horrible, even if we're playing them, because you don't want to see your friend do horrible. That's just, to me, that's a little wrong. But yeah, no, I think that it's still the friendly competition that you had when you were in high school or at your local gym or that kind of stuff, where you're always in that competition with each other. And if you're still close, you guys still talk and you do all that stuff. So I feel like it's just, you always want your friends to do well, no matter what.
Absolutely. I completely agree. That's kind of everywhere in life. And, women supporting women, people supporting people. I love it. So, Anya, when you went on your official, what was that like? Do you feel any different? I mean, I'm sure it was just a whole lot all at once, but what was your official like?
Just a traditional 2 days. Stay in a hotel, go to a football game, watch a practice, have a little photo shoot, have a dinner. But something about the coaches and the team just really made me feel at home. And I didn't even realize that people say that you get a feeling when you're in the right place. But I didn't realize I had that feeling until recently. Looking back on it, it was like, oh, I almost committed when I was here. Because I did have that feeling.
Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing that feeling is just continuing to grow.
Yeah, even better.
Yeah, I love that. There's something deep like in your gut, in your heart, that you just feel like you're in the right place. And I assume, so the coaches, they obviously made you feel very welcome. And it looks like they have treated you the same and been the same coach that you went on your official with, which is so refreshing, which is really, really nice. Did you have any other offers when you were in elite?
Yeah, I was looking at a lot of different schools.
Mm-hmm.
My top 5 eventually were Florida, Georgia, Michigan, Alabama, and Cal. So that's
That's
what it came
awesome.
down to, but there's obviously a lot more that to reach out. But
Yeah, because you're a talented queen. Um, what made you pick Florida? I mean, I know that we've kind of hit on most of those, like, but what was the ultimate decider for you?
Cal, I really loved, but it was just so far.
Mhm.
And to get to Barbados and see like my grandpa or the rest of my family, that would be a lot. So I was like, let's stay on the East Coast, and then out of like Florida, Georgia, Michigan. Michigan's freezing. So then Georgia, Bama, Florida, academics, Florida,
Yeah.
gymnastics, Florida. So
Yep. Checked all the boxes. Absolutely. So, for those of the listeners that do not know, can you explain a little bit about your family in Barbados and a little bit about your heritage and family there?
yes, so my whole family lived there, grew up there, except for when my mom came here to go to college. And after I was born, I know we were supposed to go back like soon after, but then she decided there's so many more opportunities here, so we ended up staying. It was just us. My grandma came to help take care of me, and my grandpa came up for summers when it was warm. But they were both really good athletes for Barbados, and they were on the national team for my grandpa was basketball and my grandma was field hockey, so I always knew that I wanted to be just like them. So when I had the chance to follow in their footsteps and go to Worlds and have all those opportunities, I took it.
Oh, that's incredible. And how often do you go back and visit?
I try and go at least once a year, sometimes at Christmas, sometimes in the summer.
That's awesome. Oh, is it? I've never been. What's it like there? It's obviously very warm.
Yeah, it's very warm, palm trees, white sand, clear water.
Sign me up. Absolutely. Well, Florida's got some of those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if the
Some,
water's
not the
as
same.
clear, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, not as clear. Definitely not. I
And then we have
no.
alligators, so
Oh, yeah, well.
yeah.
Have you seen any in person?
Okay, honestly, like, no. And I
You
want to.
go Florida
No.
Gators, yeah.
I know they're here, but I just haven't seen them.
And you're okay with that.
I kind of want to see one.
Right. You're like, I know they're here and I acknowledge their presence, but don't really want to be within 10 feet of them. Fair enough. Yeah, that's like yeah. I've seen a few when our grandparents lived in Florida, and yeah, it's a lot. But for sure, that's so exciting. I'm so happy for you, and we really appreciate you coming on. Is there anything else you want to add before we let you go?
No.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining. I am so glad that we get to have this conversation because it was so nice to see your face, even though the people listening can't see your face. You're beautiful, you're talented, and I'm so proud of you. And I can't wait to see how the rest of your career goes. So thank you.
Well, thank you. You'll definitely have to come down for a meet one of these days.
Duh, twist my
Yes.
arm. All right, well, have a great rest of your night.
Thank you.
So,
Bye.
bye.
Oh my God, I love her.
No, she's very nice. I remember
She's so
watching
sweet.
her compete with you many a times.
So many times. And she is just so talented and so humble. I think it's the
Mm-hmm.
humility that really gets me. When we were in JO, and she was an elite and we were competing together, she was just very unlucky with injuries. But oh my
Yeah.
goodness, would she come back and stronger. I mean, incredible. She was getting recruited while she was injured, which I think speaks volumes. Um,
Oh yeah. Nobody gets recruited. I mean, there's some people. I don't want to say nobody because there are people that get recruited when they're injured, but it is extremely rare
right.
because nobody knows exactly how you're going to recover from that injury, how you're going to do afterwards if you're as like because they're not seeing you compete, so they don't know if you're getting better. Like there's a
Right.
bunch of stuff that goes into it. So yeah.
That's so awesome. Yeah. It makes me, looking back and talking with her, it makes me miss the gymnastics. It makes me miss the team aspect for sure. And I'm just so glad she's happy. Her personality is just like a ray of sunshine. So, so nice to talk to her, which was awesome. Oh my gosh, I got so sunburnt today. Do you see this? I know y'all can't see it, but my internship had look, you can see it on my chest too from my collared shirt. My internship had 4 baseball games today. So 4.
How many?
4.
In one day.
In one day.
Everybody played the same game. Everybody played every time.
No.
4 games in a day.
4. So we have a prospect, so like a JV, and then a premier, so like a varsity. And so they each, because it's supposed to pour tomorrow, we had 2 games each. So we had 2 prospect games, and people were usually switched out, and then 2 premier games. So we started, our first game was at 9.
Okay.
Last game was at 4:30. Yeah, but it was beautiful outside, so I got some sun. But I got a really bad tan line. I was wearing capri leggings. So now I have an inverse sock tan. That's gonna be bad. I have an inverse sock tan. Everyone was laughing. They're like, you should have worn shorts. And I was like, but I want to be professional. Bit me in the butt. So, so Luke, did you see the craziness of, South Carolina basketball? We won. We are a women's basketball school.
Yes, you guys did win the national championship. Yes, you guys are the best. You guys are the new UConn, as I like to say. Because when UConn went like 3 years without losing a game, that's what I see South Carolina as. South Carolina is just unstoppable.
We've lost 9 games in the past 3 years.
Yeah. That's just absurd.
Crazy.
That's absurd.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like, that's just unheard of. Except for South Carolina. And I'm not a huge basketball fan. I'm not a basketball girly. Or the other B sport, baseball. But I appreciate their talent so much, and I think it's crazy. And so we won. I was working that day. I worked a double at the restaurant I work at. And we get a DJ, and when we won, he had champagne, and he was like spraying it all over people. It was awesome. And then as tradition, all the students jumped in the fountain right outside of our library, which was incredible. We did that when we won last time. I think that was 2021. I think. Luke, do you know? I should know this. I go to this school.
When what? Last time you guys won?
We won, yeah.
You didn't. It may have been the year before last.
2022.
I think it was 2022 because last year was LSU. I think you guys won in 2022, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, I should know this with all the Gamecock gear I own. But yeah, it was a fountain, and so on Monday they actually canceled class so that we could welcome them back. So if that doesn't scream like. This is exactly what I wanted out of my college experience. I picked this SEC school for the incredible school spirit. We're having a parade for them on Sunday, and it's just awesome. There's always a sporting event going on, and I just love it. It's so incredible.
And they're all good, too.
I know. What do you think that is? Do you think it's coaching, recruiting, just straight up talent?
Just a school. Once, you have one good sport, it starts to filter in, that sport gets a lot of money, and then the school is like, well, okay, we can invest in some other sports, and then you get good recruits, and your school just gets better and better at each sport as time goes along, and then you end up being in the SEC, and your school is good at literally everything.
Yeah, I'm hoping baseball does well this weekend against Florida. I love Anya.
That's one thing. I do think South Carolina should get a gymnastics team.
Oh my gosh, so agree. Clemson got
it,
team.
and look at how it's going. It is going incredibly well.
Yeah, they're filling out stadium, or they're filling out their arenas.
Maybe South Carolina would love a gymnastics team. I truly
they would do fantastically. Yes. Oh my gosh, and I do think that we'll probably, hopefully, get one since Clemson got one. It's always a competition, so
yeah, I would state rivalry. Yeah. Nope, I agree.
For sure. Well, we are going to do a fun fact of the day. It's called an impact stat is what we're calling it, but they're pretty much facts. But because Luke is a walking sports encyclopedia in his brain and he has all the stats and everything, I'm gonna quiz him. So I know
This is going to be ugly. It's going to
it's
be
really
ugly.
not that bad. No, it's not, but it's very interesting, and it's
We'll see.
everybody should know
how
this
good
stat.
I am at these. We'll see. I think I can do well.
And a
There's
little
a
bit
lot
of
of
like
knowledge in this brain. Maybe not for school, but for sports, it's all in there.
at least it's there for something.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, to help you out a little bit, it's always going to be timely. So,
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right.
I like
Locked
that.
in.
Yep.
Locked in. All right. So, this one is about Dawn Staley.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be?
It is.
Why wouldn't it be?
Because, right, exactly. Because she's incredible and she's just a legend. And she will be forever. But did you know that she won 3 Olympic gold medals?
Really?
She did. Do you know what years?
I have no clue.
3. 3 gold medals.
Do I have permission to look it up?
No, that's cheating.
I have no idea. What sport did she win the Olympics in? Was it basketball?
Are you kidding me?
I assume it's basketball. No, that was a stupid question. But okay. I don't know. Maybe. Oh gosh. Okay. She's in her late 40s, maybe.
Okay, just guess one of the years.
Let's drop 20 years, early 20s. Let's say 2004 Olympics.
Queen! Yay!
Hey, I knew
you
math.
got it. 1996, 2000, and 2004.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And just to continue it, I mean, she won 3 consecutive Final Fours for when she coached at University of Virginia. Or wait.
Okay.
I think she might have played there.
Probably played there because I don't think she's coached anywhere else.
Yep.
But I could be wrong.
I'm going to back up and I'm going to do that again. To continue it, she led the University of Virginia to 3 consecutive Final Fours. So I feel honored to just breathe the same air and go. I mean,
didn't you say a couple weeks ago that she came into the restaurant?
Yes, she has come into the restaurant that we work at, or that I work at, and she took pictures. I have a picture standing like 3 feet from her. She's the nicest lady, and I think what I admire about her is that she won the national championship. She's humble. She was crying when it happened. Like, even though the entire world was expecting it to happen, she wasn't. And then she stood up there accepting the trophy and was like, Caitlin Clark, who all South Carolina fans hate because she's so good. But she was like, Caitlin Clark is the #1 women's basketball draft pick for a reason. Like, yeah. And she admired her. And I love when people admire other talent. Like, it's good sportsmanship. It just shows her character. And to be coached under that, I'm sure was incredible. But yeah, she did come in the restaurant, and they actually have like a champagne that they claim as the women's basketball championship champagne, and it's we're out of it, obviously. But
they better come into the restaurant with that national championship trophy.
That's what I'm saying.
Just saying.
That's what I'm saying. You know what? We'll start a petition.
Oh yeah. You should have asked for her table. That would have been nice.
Oh my god, I didn't even recognize like that it was her, because we have like this room that like isn't the best lit, and it was like a big
private
party.
Room?
Yeah, kind of. It was, at least for her. And I like didn't recognize that it was her. And then I was like, oh my gosh, why is there a big crowd? Because it's Dawn Staley. Because it's Dawn Staley.
Best women's basketball coach in the country. So
right, but she also what's the word? she blends in, and like she makes her presence known, but also like she doesn't ask for it, if that makes sense. Like she came into a restaurant as like a normal human being.
Yeah, because
So like
she is a normal human being. It's just everybody sees. Yeah,
right. But she's not like, look at me, I've won this many national championships. She's like, I just
yeah. She's not like strutting in there and being like, my
Right.
stuff don't stink. Like I'm the best coach ever. No, she's humble about it, and I like that.
And I admire that so much. I love humble coaches for sure. Humble players, humble talent is it's definitely a really good thing. So, well, that is the end for our podcast today. Thank you all for joining, and we will see you next week when Game Changers returns.